While for most working class Americans, government assistance came in the form of a little bit of extra money, maybe $1,200 if you get it, and if you lose your job, there's a chance that you could, for a limited period of time, get a little bit more in unemployment assistance. The government was quite generous when it came to providing assistance to businesses that needed help, and in some cases, very large corporations. And in some cases, the distribution of those funds has seemed a little bit suspicious. Let's talk about a little bit of who got money and who didn't in the PPP funds. The Kushner family, large chains backed by private equity, Wall Street investors, Kanye West, members of Congress, and the law firm that represented President Donald Trump during the Mueller probe were among the thousands of beneficiaries of a COVID-19 relief program aimed at rescuing struggling small businesses and keeping workers employed. This is according to new federal data released Monday. So bear in mind, this is what we've learned in about 1 day of delving into this.
They're struggling, John. They're struggling. It's so hard.
You want an example of the struggle? Let's talk about small business Soho House, the exclusive membership club controlled by billionaire underdogs. Exactly. I wouldn't know. I'm not allowed in.
Same.
They received loans totaling $9 million to $23 million by applying for 7 loans through its locations in a number of different cities. Last month, Soho House raised $100 million from private investors, including billionaire Ron Burkle, that gave the company a valuation of $2 billion, equal to its pre-pandemic valuation. So, is it hypothetically the case that they would have had to lay some people off? Certainly. And if the money went to saving those jobs, good. The business seemed to be on pretty good financial footing, though. Yeah.
I'm going to argue that it's not what it looks like. I have a feeling, because Soho House is very strict about who they let in and what age they are. And the older you are, the more you have to pay. So I think that this was just Donald Trump's way of getting in and getting in the membership so he can go and play with the young kids. No?
Do they really do that with the age?
Yes. Oh, yeah. If you're like under 25, you have like a much smaller fee. It's like really cheap. They want all the young people there and then all the old cats. So Trump had to pay like 10 times more.
Exactly.
No, it's sick.
That's the $23 million.
I get it. Small businesses. Is Soho House a small business? Isn't it international?
I believe it is. Yes. But yeah, it's odd, and it's not just to focus on them.
We're not surprised.
No. What about this? More than 400 country clubs and golf resorts received PPP funding.
Well, obviously, they didn't even have to apply; it was just automatic.
Yeah, and again, hypothetically, people could have been laid off and could have lost their jobs. That is certainly true. In some of these cases, though, the fact that their businesses received the same valuation mid-pandemic as before implied that they were on okay financial footing to make it through this.
But what also is disgusting about these big businesses is they have already backing. They already have credit. They already are able to get loans. They have that sort of financial support through their institution, relationships with banks. Your smaller independent, mom and pop shop, they don't have those resources. And in my opinion, that's what those small business loans were for. So we knew this would happen. We knew as soon as they did this that they were going to take every opportunity to bleed that piggy bank dry and give it to their friends.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we live in. We live in a predatory capitalistic society with a culture of individualism. So not only is the government going to oppress us in that way, then the individual populace is going to be like, whoa, it's our job to Horatio Alger our way through this.
And so, exactly. And here's the thing. It is one thing to identify the people who've received funds that don't seem financially to have necessarily needed it, or that have close connections to the government, whether it's the Trump family, the Kushner family, or people close to Devin Nunes. His winery got money. There's people, I believe, close to Nancy Pelosi. Like, this is on both sides. Right. But I'm also more interested in those who didn't get money through this. So let's take a look at a quote from the founder and CEO of advocacy group Small Business Majority, John Ahrensmeyer, who said, nationally, a total of more than 21,800 minority-owned small businesses, many with multiple employees, received a loan for under $1,000. To raise eyebrows even more than 1,200 of those businesses received less than $100, with some receiving loans as low as $1 American. Underfunding has been a pervasive problem for borrowers since PPP launched. And so when you look at the fact that many didn't get anything, many who did get something got very little, perhaps not even enough to buy a Snapple.
$1,000?
$1. I mean, even
100
1,000 isn't going to save a ton of jobs. You're right.
It's really disgusting. And I think that's a really important way to look at it about who didn't get the money, John. I like that you did that, because obviously it's the majority of people that didn't get the money are going to be, the ones that we're not hearing from, because they're the ones closing up shop. We don't even know what's going on with them. And they're going under. Not only are their businesses going under, their families are going to suffer. It's upsetting, because this was meant to help the country, not help Soho House. I mean, are we going to be okay without Soho House? I think we are. I think we'll be fine.
Well, and apparently they would have been fine without us.
Yeah.
But yeah, to give so little money, it makes it seem as if they're giving out the bare minimum necessary to make a number sound good. To say, hey, we funded thousands of minority-owned small businesses. Don't ask for how much, but we funded them. And so when you're giving...
Go ahead.
Just really fast, when you give so much to these businesses that are doing very well, and when you note that as of June 30th, more than $130 billion in funding remained in the PPP tank that could have been given out, the fact that so many of these small businesses that have employees that they have to keep employed received so little or nothing, that is the ultimate insult out of all of this, I think.
It really is. And unfortunately, we're going to see, you mentioned earlier, Pelosi did it. It's on both sides. I mean, in my opinion, they're on the same side. Mm-hmm. When you're on that level, I don't think Pelosi is that far from Trump. Sorry, Pelosi, come at me. I'm ready. Because when you are more about your friends than actually the country, then your loyalty is skewed. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to trust people. It's not surprising that people don't have faith in wearing masks, there's been so many contradicting things have been going on, and we have no steady leadership. You don't have anybody that says, no, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to help you. And that's what these loans were meant to be. It's supposed to be a safeguard, because when you protect your small businesses, you protect your communities. That little main street down the street, everybody has a little main street. And when that main street goes under, you have all kinds of problems. You've got kids getting into trouble. There's nowhere for them to go and hang out. It's really upsetting that we have, small businesses that could have used 10,000. Yeah. Hey, 10, 20,000. It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. Meanwhile, I think you said earlier that the Ayn Rand Institute got money. I mean, isn't that against her philosophy?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds a lot like socialism to me. Mm-hmm. I just don't. It's hard for me to just look at what's going on and not be angry.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and that so much of the focus was on business funding and not on making sure that people can pay rent and all of that.
But even if you took care of the small businesses, you would then, in part, take care of people paying rent, take care of families, because that's who owns those businesses.
Yeah, and if you gave money directly to people, a lot of that would go back to businesses, and so you would be helping them out too. It's ridiculous.
Novel idea. I'm voting for you, John. I'm going to write you in.
Thank you. That's a waste of your vote, but feel free. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.